The Dolphins, big loss to the Ravens yesterday. Injuries happened to them. They were suffered from start to finish. Jason, was it the way they lost or just the loss?
The way they lost. And I think you heard Mike McDaniel say you have to stick together at this part of the season. And you talked about the upcoming game against the Buffalo Bills and how so much is on the line. And it's crazy to think the word tumbling could associate with the Miami Dolphins with the way they played. It was weeks ago where we watched them hang 70 points on the Denver Broncos, and their offense was absolutely rolling. It seemed like, all right, this is the year for the Miami Dolphins. So to think that there's a chance that they wouldn't even win their division, the polar opposites of the ascension of the Miami Dolphins and what Buffalo Bills were a few weeks ago. But in that game, for them to lose the way they did, and I think on top of that, Jamie, you just mentioned injuries, and we saw Chubb go down with that injury and he's riding off on the cart. Xavier Howard left that game with his shoe off on the back of a cart as well. Jerome Baker, the linebacker, he's on injured reserve. We already know Jalen Phillips isn't going to be out there. So they've had so many injuries, and that's not even to say what's going to happen with Jalen Waddle, who's dealing with a high ankle sprain, going into next week in such a huge game for this Miami Dolphins young team that are kind of in this uncharted territory of going into a Week 18 with a chance to win the division. So I think with that game behind them, they gave up 56 points to the Baltimore Ravens. Now it's how do you respond? Because, yes, you stick together in all of those things, and they're not going to point their finger at anybody else. They're going to say all the things, the right things in the media this week. But now you're going into this game where you never thought you'd be in a Week 18 playing for the division with the way they've played all season long. So now how do they respond, and what are they able to do? I think that's going to be the biggest question mark going forward for the Dolphins.
After this whole season of Dolphins, the Bills are a win away from winning their fourth straight AFC East title. It's crazy to think that we're here. The Bills beat the Dolphins, which they've already done once. Dolphins are just another wild card team like they were last year, and they'll come hobbling into the playoffs with injuries galore, and we'll see if they can hang tight. My fear all season with this Dolphins team, and I got crushed for it, and it wasn't Tua-based. In September and October and November, you can be a Ferrari, but when you get to December and January, you have to find a way to stay healthy and stay fast and do all those things. They didn't have Waddle yesterday. They didn't have Mostert yesterday. They lose Bradley Chubb yesterday. They might lose Xavier Howard. Like, this isn't the same team that we did flips over in September and October. That's fair. They're not the same speed team that they were in September. Even the win last week against the Cowboys, we started the show on Christmas Day, and I'm like, thank God they got Jason Sanders. He went 5 for 5, and he was the best player on the field for them yesterday. A lot of Dolphins fans out there waking up and they're hurting right now because they don't know how they got here. They play a style of play that is a race car team. It is hard to be a race car team the entire 18-week season and then through the stretch of January. They have to find a way to adjust. This was embarrassing yesterday. This is a mortifying loss, and it's confounding. I don't know how you bounce back. I don't know how in good faith I could say, yeah, well, the next time they play the Ravens, they'll blow them out of the water. They're hurt, they're injured, and their egos are probably bruised this morning as well.
Well, they're going home. They're going home. They have a home game next week. They're not playing in the cold. They're not playing in Baltimore. They're not playing the conditions. They'll be in Miami, where the Buffalo Bills hate playing, where they've beaten Josh Allen on the Bills before. And I would say that, look, I don't think there's any shame in getting smacked by the Ravens. And I'll point out the 49ers. The 49ers got smacked by the Ravens, and then the next week went all the way the hell across the country and beat the crap out of some team who was playing out their schedule. They got off the mat. The Dolphins thing's fascinating. I read that they're the first team in 80 years to score 55 or more in a game and give up 55 more in a game in the same season. That really tells the tale. I thought yesterday they missed Jalen Phillips a lot. I remember I was at the Black Friday game. We all were, and he went down. I'm like, oh, that might be tough because the Jalen Phillips, Bradley Chubb guys, they're your Lamar Wranglers. They're your Josh Allen Wranglers. You got to get that steer to the ground. They need those guys bad. It's like you'd almost rather miss someone like Mostert, who's really big on offense for you, than those guys who can corral Lamar and Josh. I think it's interesting that Mike McDaniel came out and said some guys are hurting. They're hurting. Peter said their fans are hurting. It's all in front of you, though. You have a home game against a team that was dead in the water, who you have a lot of history against, a lot of it very good. I don't think this is doom and gloom for the Dolphins. They got killed by the Ravens. A lot of teams have. A lot of teams who are going to be in the playoffs, just like the Dolphins are. I think it's a McDaniel week to coach, to motivate. The injuries are huge, no doubt. Chubb and Jalen Phillips both gone. Those are two killers. You're at home at a place that your opponent hates playing. Irritate them, win, take care of business. I don't think this is a funeral for Miami Dolphins. They lost to Baltimore.
In the betting world, if you take a gander at teams that are AFC favorites to be playing in Las Vegas in February, the Ravens right now are number 1. Do you know who the number 2 team is on a lot of these sites? It's
Still Dolphins?
It's the Bills. It's the Bills. So the fact that they were dead in the water and they're the come-running team officially of Good Morning Football in December, them and the Browns, but the Bills, why are the Bills second? And if I were the Dolphins, I would actually be terrified that that's their opponent. The Bills are no Commanders. You just said the 49ers played the Ravens and then went cross-country and played the Commanders to beat up on them. Fine. The Bills have something to play for, something to prove. The Bills are saying, come to our house in early January if they win this game on Sunday night. So I would be terrified if I was the Miami Dolphins and this is a Bills team that I'm getting now. I would love to play the Bills if I were the Dolphins in October or November, the way their season was going. But this moxie that the Bills have, the score wasn't great against the Patriots yesterday, but I just feel like they are swimming. They are sharks in the water right now.
The Dolphins don't get terrified of the Bills, though. Like, they have so much history and so much familiarity. Like, those are like almost two brothers that punch each other. And also, like, the Bills are not in the playoffs. And there's a scenario they can miss the playoffs. You can knock them out.
Very likely scenario
right?
if they don't win. It's very likely they miss the playoffs if they don't win the game.
Crazy.
Because of what happens on Saturday.
To Jamie's point, they're the number 2, and a week from now they could be like they're out of the playoffs if they lose to Miami 21-20.
Which I think has something to say just about the AFC in general.
Yes.
Every time we crown a team like Miami, and just the next thing you know, they lose that type of game. But to your point, if I'm Miami, I do feel good going into this week. You're dealing with your injuries, but Buffalo, I mean, Zappe threw 3 interceptions. They won that game by 6 points. They played the Chargers a week. Like, they're not just dominating everybody. So
game I haven't seen yet.
I think Buffalo.
Buffalo would be favored in Miami.
Buffalo 2-point favorite right now.